session. I hope that's all right. Is it all right? Say all right in the chat. All right, all right. We'll hold the space for other friends to come and learn as well. Let's make space for them too, guys. Thank you so much for your patience. Just a couple of more seconds and we are good to go. Okay, yeah, we've got the link, Dharini. I'm putting it on chat for you. All right, good. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you for holding the space. So the agenda for this 3-day program is for you to understand what leadership is and what it is not. What is transformational leadership? How ready are you to get there? How ready is Akhilesh? How ready is Mitesh? How ready is Surendra to get there? You understand? Individually, how ready are you to get there? And what will it take? What is the 4-step roadmap to become a transformational leader? This is what you will learn from the program. Sounds exciting? Say exciting in the chat if you're excited to know what you're about to learn. Yes, excited? Super. All right, wonderful. So let's dive right in. I want you to ensure that you participate with absolute selfishness. Selfish is not a bad word, guys, right? We consider selfish to be a bad word, isn't it? It's bad to be selfish, but it's good to be selfish when you're in a learning environment, which means you forget about the other 100 people in the room. You are here for yourself and you will show up 100% with honesty because we're going to do a lot of self-assessment. So I don't want you to be bothered about what 100 other people think. I want you to dive in with your honesty so that you get the max from this session. Is that a deal? Give me a deal in the chat, right? Do we have a deal that you're going to assess yourself and participate very, very honestly? Because it doesn't matter what your scores are. Are they the highest or the lowest? Just doesn't matter. What matters is we understand our status quo. Because till such time we know where we are, we can never plan where to go. Isn't it? If you use a Google map to get to any place, you can't just put the destination. What else is required for you to get to the destination? Your current location. Isn't it? You need the current location. Without current location, only destination will not get you anywhere. So your current location is the status quo, is what we are going to find out in this program together. What is my current status? What is my level of leadership as we speak? And then I will tell you how to get yourself to the next level. All right. So first honest assessment opportunity is right here. I want you to once again write down your total annual income in your notebook. What's your annual income? And why I'm saying income is because some of you are in business, some of you are with corporates. So whatever is your annual income, let's just put that down on a piece of paper. All right. Again, I know that you need a 0 or 2 at the end, and sure you must, and you will, and I will tell you how to get there. But for now, let's divide this number by 12 so that you get your monthly income. Can we divide this by 12, please? Now, the number that you have in front of you is your monthly income, right, Anuj? You've got your monthly income there, right? Now, assuming that you don't work on Saturdays and Sundays, I'm assuming, that could be incorrect. Some of us work on Saturdays too. Assuming you work 5 days a week, we've got 26 working days. Is that right? Is that right? Or 22 working days? Some of us have 26 if Saturdays are working. Some of us have 22 if Saturdays are off. Please divide it by 22 or 26, whatever your situation is. If you're working 6 days, then it's 26. If you're working 5 days, then it's 22. Right? Please divide your annual income by 26 or 22, depending on how many days of the week do you work. Got that? Yeah, Mahesh, give me a thumbs up. You got it? Anuj, got it? Got it? Wonderful. So what is the number we're looking at now? Our per day income. Is that right? It's a per day income. And now assuming that we work for 8 hours a day, I know for a fact that many of you work for 10 hours and 12 hours, and more maybe. But assuming it's 8 hours a day and we've got some work-life balance somehow, let's divide this by 8. You can use a calculator if you want, but let's do this math very, very seriously. No cutting corners here, no shortcut at all. Okay, divide this by 8 and you have in front of you your per hour income. If you've got it, say got it in the chat. Say got it, please. And this is a very, very important math I'm saying once again. So please don't take this lightly. We need to get the exact number there, the exact number for you as we speak. Got it? Wonderful. All right. So do you like this number? Are you happy with this number? Are you happy? Happy, very happy, not so happy? No? No, no, this should be a higher number, right? It should be a higher number. Even if you're happy, you could be happier with this number. There is always a possibility. And this number does not in any way indicate your worth, but it does indicate the value you are bringing to the table as we speak. Please understand what I'm saying. Let's go a little deeper with this. Money is a function of value. Is that right? Is that right? When we go out shopping, what do we say? It's not worth the value, right? It's not worth it. What do you mean by not worth it? Is that you don't see the worth in spending that amount of money to buy that product. Are you with me? Say with you in the chat, right? So you see a bag for 1,20,000 and you say, you know what, this is not worth it. I'm not going to spend 1,20,000. It's not value for money. Is that right? It's not value for money. What is money? Money is what we use in exchange of the value that we get. So the money that we are earning is also earned in exchange of value that we are giving. Hence, as we go up the ladder, the money starts increasing because we are expected to add more value to the system. Now, that value is not necessarily being a function of what I produce individually. It is a function of what I get out of 10 people who reported to me or 20 people who reported to me. Is that right? So you're a leader, you're leading 20 people, you get a certain result from your team. And that result brings certain value for the organization for which you are paid the salary that you're paid. Right, Satish? You're getting this simple logic. So the number that I see in front of me is an indication of the value that I'm adding to the system as of now. And if I don't like this number, if I want this number to be a higher number, what does that mean? I need to learn how to add more value to the system. Simple. When I become more valuable, my value will go up as well. And when my value goes up, the money that I get in exchange of the value I'm going to give will automatically increase. That's how it works. That's the only way it works. We don't get more money because we think we should or we think we deserve. We get more money for our time and effort when we learn how to bring more value to the table, to the organization, to the system that we are a part of. Even if you're running your own business, whatever is your turnover is a function of the value that you're producing for your identified customers out there. Maybe you need to get to another target segment altogether. Maybe you need to understand the existing target segment and learn how to add more value. The day you learn that, automatically the numbers will double. That's how it works. You got it? Say got it. Because this is a very, very important foundation of what we are going to talk about. Because I personally am a believer of 10x growth, for which I'm going to build your mindset to 10x. Because 2x is only linear. Is that right? Like you earn X and then you work very hard, try to be better than you are, and you keep working hard to be better and better and better. The best case scenario is that you double your income. Right, Tarun? Double is 2x, right? But what I'm telling you is that 10x is easier than 2x. How many of you want to grow 10x? Say 10x in the chat. If you want to grow 10x, that you know what, I don't have all the time in life to take these baby steps forward and grow linearly. I want to grow exponentially because there is a way to do that. And I will tell you how to do that. Transformational leadership is all about exponential growth. It's all about exponential growth. And you've signed up for a transformational leadership program. So I am very certain of the fact that you're not looking at a linear growth. You're looking at transformational growth, which is exponential, which is 10x. And for that, we need to work on two things: our mindset and our skill set, both. Mindset first and then skill set. And I will tell you how to work on both mindset and skill set as we go along. But first, let's have another round of discussion on our status quo. Now that we know this is my per hour value, and I'm clear that I need to grow this value by 10x and not just 2x, let us get back to the fundamentals of leadership, and then we will develop our understanding of what is transformational leadership. Fair? Fair? So I often introduce myself with something that defines me in the best way and introduces me the best way possible, and that is to say that I'm an entrepreneur by profession and a leadership coach by passion. And why I'm so passionate about leadership is because I believe that when you work on your leadership abilities, you also become a better person. Do you agree? Give me agree or disagree in the chat. You can disagree. And in this discussion, maybe you will find reasons to agree, because it's so true. It is so true. When you work on your ability to lead and become a better leader, you automatically become a better husband or a better wife or a better friend or a better son or daughter or father or mother, or any other relationship that you have in life automatically enjoys the ripple effect of your leadership abilities. But here is the challenge. The challenge is that we haven't really learned leadership in a structured manner. Isn't that right? Did you have leadership as a subject in your school? Say me or not me in the chat. Yeah? Yeah, Harish, Lawrence, did you have leadership? You had science, maths, English, maybe Sanskrit, history. But leadership, no. Nobody taught us leadership in school. In fact, not even in undergrad or post-grad courses is leadership included as a subject. I've done MBA, and let me tell you, even if you do MBA from the Ivy Leagues of the world, you will learn management at best, but not leadership. Is that right? So this is, in fact, the first structured program that you've signed up for, where you're going to learn leadership in a structured manner. And for that, you should be patting your back. Is that right? Yeah? Rajiv, do you think you should pat your back? So let's do this. Extend your right hand forward. Remember, we're all students here, which means we've got to act a little childlike. Are you ready? Are you willing for that, Sandeep? Yeah? Willing to be a child again? So extend your right hand forward like this and bend it from the elbow. Very good, Manas. Bend it from the elbow. And now slightly push the elbow up so that your hand can touch your back and say 1, 2, 3. Good job done. Because you deserve it. And why you deserve it is because you've come as far as you have without really learning something that you were expected to not just perform, but also be excellent at it, right? You are expected to excel as a leader when you haven't really learned it in a structured manner. And yet you managed to come as far as you have, isn't it? And that deserves some pat on the back, right? That deserves a little bit of appreciation. And now that we realize we need to learn it, let the journey begin of structured learning. But if I were to ask you, on a scale of 10, 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest, how would you rate your leadership abilities? Give me a number in the chat, please. Like, what do you think? And you might be re-looking at this number, by the way. Don't hesitate to do that as you understand what leadership is and what it is not, because like I said, we haven't been taught, and you agree, right? We haven't been taught leadership. For the first time, I'm going to put out some facts. This might challenge your belief about it. Allow that to happen. Please allow that to happen so that learning, real learning can take place, right? So whatever that number is, Sridhar, give any number. I understand you might not have any idea because you've probably not thought of it. Just what do you think? On a scale of 10, my recommendation always is to avoid 3 numbers. Whenever you assess yourself, avoid 3 numbers. Can you guess what these 3 numbers are? Yeah, Batul knows, like with all confidence, she's writing something. What are these 3 numbers that you should avoid? Yeah, 0, 5, 10. 0, 5, 10. So this scale doesn't have 0. My scale never has 0. It starts with 1 because we never a 0 at anything. That's what I believe, right? It's at least a 1. 1 to 10, ignore, always avoid 1, 5, and 10. Right answer. Right answer. Why? Because you're never a 1 or the lowest. You're also not a 10. Otherwise, you're leaving no room for learning. Despite being your coach right now here for this program, I wouldn't give myself a 10 on 10, even on coaching or leadership or anything that I might hold as my expertise. Why? Because I will cap my ability to learn beyond that, isn't it? So it's never a 10. It's never a 1. And it shouldn't be a 5. Why? Because 5 is like sitting on the fence. You know, I don't know if I'm 4 or I'm 6. So 5. So 5 is no assessment. If you're not too good, then give 4. If you're not too bad, then give 6. But don't sit on a 5. Now, if you want to revise your assessment, do that. Whatever it is, 6, 5, 4, 1, 2, I don't know. Whatever you think you need to give yourself as you assess your ability to lead without learning leadership in a structured way. Wonderful. So it's a 4 or 6 or whatever that number is. Have you written that number down in your notebook? Yeah, Rajiv, you have it in your notebook? Krishna, you've written in the notebook? Have you? Have you? Wonderful. This is one more time when we strike off this number and write 1 against it. Can you do that, Sandeep? Let's just write 1 against your number, which means that whatever is this number for me, if I'm a 6 on 10, my 6 is the new 1. Are you understanding what I'm saying, Atul? Right? So if you've given yourself a 4 on 10, your 4 becomes your new 1. And when that becomes a new 1, you're creating space for 10x growth. Are you with me, Kaushal? Right? So let that be whatever number. It's an 8 on 10, fantastic. But let that 8 be a new 1. Now let's start learning leadership and going deeper. Because as much as you need to go higher as a leader, you need to go a lot more deeper to understand the essence of leadership. And that will be my endeavor, to put out the real essence of leadership to you all starting now. I'm going to put out a few presumptions we have about leadership, which we need to challenge. Before we get to what is transformational leadership, let us understand a little more about leadership. If you're ready to learn, then say BIO, bring it on. Bring it on, UP, tell us. Tell us what are the presumptions that we might be holding about leadership. Let's challenge that. Let's see what lies beyond. Yeah, you ready to know? If you want me to bring it on, then so shall I. Here we go. I'm going to share with you the 3 presumptions of leadership. What is the path towards transformational leadership? And what is our plan to get there? So here are the 3 presumptions I want you to challenge. The first is, either you are a born leader or not. Either you're a born leader or not. Do you agree or disagree? Give me agree or disagree in the chat, please. Either you're a born leader or not. Agree? Don't know? Disagree? Agree? All right. The right answer is, it's not true. You disagree. There are no born leaders. And this is such a debate, such a debate, Bharti. Day before yesterday, I was out for dinner, some networking event, and we were talking exactly about this. This gentleman walks up to me. He learned that I'm a leadership coach, so he wanted my views on are people born leaders, because everybody keeps complimenting me on my leadership abilities, he says. So maybe I'm a born leader. And he invited like my passion flowing through as he opened this discussion up for me, because I can talk about it every single second of the day. And I had to let him know that there are no born leaders. Why? Because leadership is not one skill. Leadership is a summation of 100+ skills. And no one person has it all. So maybe Nikhil is great with negotiation, right? And maybe Amit is very good in connecting with people. And maybe Atul is a strategist. Like strategy comes to him a little more naturally. It just kind of flows through him. Possible? Possible, right? So we all might have our own innate strengths, which can help us to be good leaders, but we don't have it all. And there are a few which always needs to be learned. And hence there are no born leaders. Just because you can speak well doesn't mean you're a leader. Just because you're a favorite in the group of 5 people you hang around with doesn't make you a leader. Just because you are playing a leadership role does not make you a leader. Have you met people who have been your seniors but could not exhibit good leadership qualities? Give me yes in the chat. You've had leaders who were not leaders, they were managers. They had the role to play, but they couldn't play it too well. You did not see leadership qualities in them, even though they were playing a leadership role. Right? So there are no born leaders. Leadership is a skill that can be learned as long as you have a conscious learning path towards it. Please take this statement away from me today. And if I were you, I would write it down in my notebook so that I never forget what leadership really is. It's a skill that can be learned as long as you have a conscious learning path towards it. Leadership is an individual's responsibility to be a better version of who they are. That's what it is. And that is what breaks the second presumption. Leadership is on-the-job learning. No, it is not just on-the-job learning. We have learned leadership on the job till date. Is that right? We got into a leadership role. So we all started our career as maybe management trainees after MBA, right? That's where my journey started. And I worked with corporates for over a decade. I worked with multinational banks, Citi and Barclays. And my journey started as a management trainee, right? And with me were 50 other management trainees, right? So you kind of pick the best from all the colleges and their journey begins. Now, the next level is what you need to earn with your hard work, executing your technical skills and exhibiting your knowledge, theoretical knowledge that you got from your MBA school and then apply it in your job. Is that right? So out of those 50, maybe 5 people get to the next level. Yeah, Thangam? 5 people from 50 become maybe junior managers, assistant managers, whatever is the designation in different organizations, right? Now here, you are playing a leadership role. You're supposed to handle 5 more people, for example, right? Now from here, the skills that you are applying are very different, isn't it? You're no more an executor. Now you have to get work done, which is a different skill altogether, which nobody taught you. And you never exhibited that you are good at it because you never had to use it as a management trainee. Right, Nikhil? At that level, you were just supposed to execute. And Nikhil was executing very well. So he got promoted. And now he's expected to practice skills which he has not been taught. Are you getting what I'm saying? And you're supposed to be good at it. So what do? You have no choice. You have to learn on the job. You say, okay, now let me see, like, how are my managers with me? Or what books have I read that I can learn from? Or what YouTube video I can watch to be a better leader? That's all we can do. Is that right? And we do whatever we can do to survive enough to get to the next level. And then the next one. And in this process, in this learning process, in this on-the-job learning process, what we have caused without realizing is collateral damage. What is collateral damage? People who have suffered through our bad leadership while we were learning to be better leaders. Think about it. If you are 12 years into playing a leadership role, you are a better leader today than you were when you had only 1 year of leadership experience. Are you with me? Do you agree? Say agree in the chat, right? You had 1 year experience, अभी नए leader बने हैं, तो अभी गलतियां तो होंगी, और उन गलतियों से हम सीखेंगे और धीरे धीरे सीखते सीखते improve होंगे, right? We'll keep improving ourselves as we keep making mistakes. And so hopefully we are better leaders today than we were when we were made the leader for the very first time. But guess what has happened? People who were to be led by you have suffered poor leadership because you were not ready to be a leader back then. They are your collateral damage. And that damage is irreversible because they have taken away the experience of bad leadership. As much as you always have the intention to do well and to do good to them. Isn't it? Right, Rajshekhar? We never play any leadership role with the agenda to make people's life miserable. We don't do that. We don't leave our house thinking that today I'm going to go and make 5 people miserable with my leadership qualities. We don't want to do that. We try to do our best. And yet we make mistakes because that's as much as we know. That's the problem with on-the-job learning. Now, let me extend it to a little personal space that I also share with you, by the way. How many of you are parents here? Give me a me in the chat. Parents, calling mommies, calling daddies. Give me a me, right? So I'm a parent as well. And let me tell you this. No job is more responsible than raising a child. Do you agree? Give me agree in the chat. Big job, huh? It's a big job. To raise a child is a very, very responsible job, right? Now tell me this. How many of us really do a 1-year course on parenting before becoming a parent? How many of you have done a course? 1 year, minimum, right? 1 year. You have to raise a child all your life. 1 साल का course तो बनता है. Have we done it? No, we haven't. We think we are ready to be a parent. If we are financially ready and biologically ready, then we are ready, right? We can be a parent whenever we have enough money in the bank account. But is there something to be learned about parenting? Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. Now that you're a 10-year-old parent or a 12-year-old parent, if you have a 12-year-old child, you're a 12-year-old parent, correct? Do you know better than what you knew when you were a 1-year-old parent? Give me a yes in the chat, because there is no denying that. Absolutely no denying that, right? I definitely know better than what I knew when I was a 1-year-old parent. And I made mistakes and I'm learning and learning and learning. And now I know better. But guess what? The damage is done. And that is the problem with only on-the-job learning. So leadership needs to be learned proactively. Now, unfortunately, with parenting, we don't get a second chance. Maybe we get a second chance, but we don't get a third chance these days, right? You might want to go for another child, but usually we have 1 or 2 kids. So we don't get that chance to proactively. In fact, let me tell you this, Bharti. Even if it's your second child and you realize that with the first one you could have done better, we still don't take time out to do courses. Course क्या करना है इसमें? हमारे parents ने हमें बड़ा किया, हम भी कर ही लेंगे. You know, they've managed to raise us. We'll also raise kids. What's the big deal? It is a big deal. It is a huge deal if you look at it. You have a direct influence on the child and the personality that they develop in the first 5 years. And that's how critical this job is. And yet we take it as a on-the-job learning. Good news is that with leadership, we can start with proactive learning today, in this moment. If you are willing, you can be more proactive in your ability to lead people. You will lead from here on. That can be done. Damage that is caused, but we can stop causing more damage. Isn't it? And so learning should always be done proactively, not reactively, not on the job, proactively. Before you hold the steering wheels of a car, you want to learn driving. Is that right? Or do you buy an expensive car with your hard-earned money and then you say, "Acha chalo, ab gaadi le liye, to chalana bhi seekh hi lete hain." Do we do that? Then let's buy a car and then we will learn how to drive a car. Do we do it, Kiran? We don't do that. We don't do that, right? What do? we first learn and we go to some driving school so that we bump their car. I don't want to crash my car here and there, right? I want to play all the tricks at somebody else's cost and then get into my car and drive it safe, right? That is the way to learn anything you want to learn, including leadership. So the third presumption that I want to break for you about leadership is that you are a leader if you have a team. Do you agree or disagree? You are a leader if you have a team. Disagree. Absolutely. So I'm saying it's a presumption, which means it's a wrong statement. You are a leader if, as an individual, you are willing to be a better version of yourself. You can be a solopreneur and a leader. You can be a homemaker and a leader. Leadership is an individual's willingness to be a better version of who they are. And in the process, guide other people, lead other people, grow other people, develop other people, include other people. And that is the value that we bring to the table. When we learn how to deal with people better and how to get more value from them is when we become more valuable. Are you getting this, Malvika? Right? So how do you raise the bar? You are a great executor. That's why you are at a higher level. From here on, execution doesn't matter. What matters? How many more Malvikas can you create? And there will be one Jaya who doesn't like you. And then there will be one Mahesh who will challenge your authority. And then there will be one Kiran who thinks he deserves the job that you have. Are you understanding? Now you have to take Jaya and Kiran and everybody in the team along. You have to earn the respect that they need to offer to you. Only then you can bring their best out. You don't get that respect for your ego inflation. You get that respect so that you can get their best out on the table. When you get their best is when you multiply the value you produce as a team. And that's when you as a leader becomes valuable for the system. Then that zero gets added at the end of the number. That's how it works. Simple. Got it? So if you've noted this concept and it is now into your system, say noted. Say noted in the chat. If you've noted this very clearly, how am I going to become more valuable? It's a function of how well can I understand people, before that myself. How well can I work on my mindset and my skill set? When I learn that, then I know how to add more value. And that's when one more zero gets added to my per hour cost. When I spend 1 hour or something, I add 10x value to that system. That's who I have become or wish to become. Then I have experienced 10x growth. That is a transformational leader. Noted? Super. So now we're crystal clear about what is leadership. Now we're clear about leadership is when we are now going to understand the path towards transformational leadership. So tell me very quickly, what is your understanding of transformational leadership? As per you, what does it mean? Let's have it in the chat, please. What do you mean by transformational leadership? Now you saw this ad floating or whichever way you got here, and I'm glad that you did. You saw this is a transformational leadership program. So what is your understanding of transformational leadership? Changing life of others along with self, Arun. Okay. Better version of yourself on learning, changing attitude, inspiring the team. Okay. Breaking barriers, better version of me, value transformation. People can naturally follow you. Okay. Inclusive growth, include in guiding other people. Better version of yourself. Okay. Big leap. Okay. Inspiration for the team and deliver better. First, be an example of the change you want in others. Ume. Okay. Okay. Great. Great answers, right? Great answers. But I'm going to offer you a relief and take some burden off your back by telling you two things about transformational leadership, and then I will tell you the path towards getting there. Okay? Cool? Say okay in the chat. Okay, good. Okay, tell us. Two things that I need to get off my back so that I can travel light towards becoming a transformational leader. The first thing is that transformational leadership is not about changing others, because you cannot change anybody, not even your own kids. Is it true that if you could, you would have liked to change a few things about your children? Yeah, Sridhar? One or two things, Amitish, that I wish my son was not like this, but like that. One, my daughter was not behaving like this. One or two things we want to change about our own kids, right? But we can't. We cannot change anybody unless they are willing to change themselves. Nobody can change anybody. So please take that burden off your back, that I am here to change the world. We can only change ourselves. We can only change ourselves. And let me tell you this, Tarun, even that many people cannot do because they're not willing to. Why? Because they're so outward that they think that I'm fine. Problem is with Naresh. Problem is with Satish. What do I have to change about myself? I'm a 10 on 10 leader. I need to change these 5 flunkies who are reporting into me. That is my job. That's not your job. You cannot change anybody, and it's a futile exercise and a waste of your precious life to work in that direction. Having said that, you can also not become an inspirational leader. Inspirational leader. I want to become an inspirational leader. Now, the problem with that is that inspiration is an experience, right? Are you with me? So if you are on stage and there are 100 people listening to you, maybe 5 people will go out very inspired. Wow, man. What a leader. Amazing stuff she said on the stage. I want to be like her. I'm inspired. Possible? Possible. And maybe 5 other people will go out saying, what a waste of time, yeah. Oh, I already knew everything she said. Possible? Right? So as much as some people will get inspired by who you are and who they see you to be, being an inspiration is not our goal. We might land up inspiring, but we cannot promise an inspiration. Inspiration is an experience you will take away from this session. I cannot start the session by saying, ladies and gentlemen, in these 3 days, I'm going to inspire you. I don't know if you will get inspired or not. You will definitely learn. That I'm promising. You will go back with some learning which will add value to your life. That's my promise. Will I inspire you? I don't know. If I'm able to inspire you, I'll be elated. If I'm not able to inspire you, I am not apologetic. Because inspiration is your experience. It is not my goal. My goal is your learning. So your leadership abilities should come with the goal to help people learn, help people grow, help people develop. If they get inspired on the way, great. If they don't, it's not your goal. Transformational leadership is not about becoming an inspiration for the world around. You will automatically, it's a byproduct. But it's not our goal. So what is transformational leadership? Let me take you towards becoming a transformational leadership and tell you what it means to be a transformational leader. It's a 5-level, 5-step process. There are 5 levels of leadership that I'm going to share with you next. And this is another opportunity to assess yourself honestly. Okay? As I share these 5 levels with you, I want you to assess at which level do you operate from most of the times. Let me say this again, because I know from my experience, people will say in the chat, I am level 1 also, I am level 3 also. It's true for all of us. But the assessment is basis the level you operate from most of the times. Are we clear? Say clear in the chat, please, if you're clear about my instruction. It depends on the situation. It depends on the individual you have to lead. But what you're assessing yourself on is what level do I lead from, operate from most of the times. Now, these 5 levels are the levels that I have been able to put as categories of 5, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. This is my experience of having trained over 100,000 people and 150 odd CXOs very closely, as you know, through one-on-one coaching sessions. And as I look at them closely and witness their growth, I realized that they have moved and grown from the lower levels towards the higher levels. But none of them could have done that without realizing the level they were at when we started the journey. So you're about to find out your current location. All right. Are you ready? Then give me a BIO in the chat. Bring it on, UP. I want to know the 5 levels. And I promise I will very honestly tell you which level do I operate from. Wonderful. So let's get ready to know the 5 levels. The first level, which is also the lowest level of leadership, is what I call as transactional leadership, which is task-oriented, right? Transactional leadership is task-oriented. What does that mean? I'm clear about the task that we have to do as a team. And I will tell you, Lawrence, this is your task. This is how you do it. I have 5 years of experience. I will teach you. You follow my instructions, deliver, right? Now, whether you deliver it with a smile on your face or a frown on your forehead, that is not my problem, because I have 20 other people to lead. So I'm going to focus on the task. I will tell you the task and you need to perform it that way. Simple, simple. That's level 1, transactional leadership. I want the work done and I will tell you how to do it. You have to do it. Simple, right? Now, what is level 2? Level 2 is what I call as effective leadership, where you are result-oriented, but you're not micromanaging people. You're not telling them to do it your way necessarily. You will give them the flexibility and space to do it their way. What you care about is the result. You don't have to tell them exactly what they should do. So you're not micromanaging. You're worried about the result. And that's what makes you effective. Good level to be at. It's already effective. It's level 2 leadership. But it is still level 2 only. So what is level 3? A higher level, even above effective leadership, is spiritual leadership. What is spiritual leadership? Self-oriented. What does that mean? The ability to look within myself. The ability to take the blames when things go wrong. The ability to give the credit to the team when things go right. Now, even if you know this and you have read this or heard this, please don't get carried away with what you know. Always assess yourself on what you do, not what you know. I know it's not good to lie, but I lie. How good it is that I know we shouldn't lie. Are you understanding, Prashant? Right? So when I'm assessing myself here, I want to very honestly assess, is it easy for me to take the blame? When 10 times I told Malvika, this needs to be done by 10th, it needs to be done by 10th, and she fails to do it. And now Mahesh, my boss, is calling me in to roger me and take my happiness. How easy is it for me to stand in front of Malvika and take the blame? Think about it, huh? Just think about it for a moment. Because it's not as easy as it sounds. I will be very tempted to tell Mahesh that, you know what, I've done everything I can for Malvika and she slipped. Is that true? Is that true? Many of us would do that. So think before you assess yourself on the level at which you operate. Level 3 is when you are working on yourself, understanding yourself, connecting with yourself consciously. Consciously. You use every mistake as an opportunity to learn more about yourself and improve that part of you. Instead of blaming people, you do not indulge in blame game. Think about it. If that's how you operate, then maybe you're at level 3, maybe not. Right now, we are not here to prove how great we are as leaders. We're here to learn how to become better. So an honest assessment is what I call for. Now, this is level 3. We have one more level to go. I'm already taking the blame. I'm getting the results, and yet I'm level 3. So what is level 4? Level 4 is servant leadership. Servant leadership means you are service-oriented. When you extend your abilities and capabilities to help people, even if you don't want anything in return, even if you can't get anything in return, you don't work towards helping people just because you want something in return. You go beyond that. So if I have groomed Anuj in my team to become one of my star performers, and I know that he has reached his plateau of learning in this environment, do I have it in me to let him go? Do I have it in me to find more opportunities for Anuj so that he continues to grow? And I don't cap his growth because I don't have anything better to offer here. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Right? Letting go of your people who deserve better than what you can offer. A servant leader, servant leader can do that. And a servant leader is the one who will extend their ability to help people, not for the sake of looking like a philanthropist and taking pictures and putting it on Facebook and Insta to tell the world how great we are, but because that's who they are. They use everything they have, their knowledge, their time, their resources, to help other people. Mostly through their leadership abilities. And that is level 4 leadership, servant leadership. Now, these 4 levels you can attain with conscious learning. You can learn to move from 2 to 3, 3 to 4. But the 5th level is not the level that can be attained. It is a level at which you are perceived. And that is transformational leadership, where you become value-oriented. Where the only thing that drives you is how to add more value. How to add more value to these 3 people who work with me. How to add more value to this team, to this function, to this organization, to this community, to this country, to the world. How can I add more value? And because I have this endeavor to add more value, I am consciously working on my ability to learn more. Is that right? And not get into becoming obsolete. If I become obsolete, how will I add more value? If I want to keep adding value, I have to keep adding value to myself first with learning. Hence, please listen to this carefully. Learning cannot happen by default. Learning only happens by design. Now, what do I mean by that? On-the-job learning is default learning. Easy learning, okay, I don't mind, I have to pay $200, chalo, seekh lete hain, is default learning. Okay, I don't mind learning if it falls on a weekend, default learning. I don't mind learning through reading books as and when I have time, default learning. What is design? Design is when you know what you want to learn and you're ready to invest 3 important resources. Please make a note of this. 3 important resources you need to invest if you want to learn by design. First, you need to know what to learn. The goal, right? That's how you make any strategy. So even if you have to make learning strategy, you have to know now where to go, right, Bharti? Where to go? What do I need to learn? I need to learn these skills to become a transformation leader. Okay, great. Now that's my goal. Now comes the 3 resources I need to invest. And what are these 3 resources? Anybody? Can you take a guess and tell me? What are the 3 resources that you need to learn by design? Time, money, and effort. Time, effort, money. Yeah, effort to be consistent. Consistency takes effort, correct? It takes effort, right? You need these 3 resources. Time, effort, money. All 3 are needed. All 3 are needed. And when you invest these 3 resources, you're clear about what you want to learn, you're clear about your goal, is when you are learning by design. And learning can only happen by design. Learning by default is a way for us to fool ourselves and inflate our ego. I'm going to burst the bubble because I know you can take it. You can, right? Say I can. Say I can in the chat. Let's have some direct talk, right? Leader to leader talk. Let's get to the point, cut the chase. There is no fun in celebrating something which is not worthy of celebration. Learn, I read a book every month. Fine. Why do you pick this book and not that? Because it's a bestseller. Is that a good reason? Because my best friend has recommended that. Is that a good reason? Because I've heard a lot about this book. Is that a good reason? No. So what is a good reason? That this book is related to that subject which I need to excel or learn more about. And hence this book. So I'm going to spend my time, effort, and money into this. It becomes my learning source. Spending time on choosing the learning source is very important. Why? Because we don't have 200 years to live. That's why. Life is short. And there is a lot to learn, right, Anuj? Now, I don't have time to pick 3 wrong books and get to the right one. By wrong, I mean books which are not aligned to my goal. Every book is beautiful and has something to offer. There is no denying that. Every single author, and me being one, I've written a book, and let me tell you, it takes a lot of effort to write a book because you go through 20 books and 20,000 other resources to get the best and clarity of thought to put that together and offer it, right? As a comprehensive learning. So a lot of work goes behind every single book, and immense respect to every author who has the courage to write. But every book might not add to my plan. So I need to first know my plan and then invest in that learning. Very big lesson here if you're listening to me carefully. So I want to know from you, which level do you operate from? And with that, we conclude. Tell me which level. Level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Most of the times, Akhilesh, like I said, you will find yourself at multiple levels. Where do you operate from most of the times? I'm going to put it again on the screen for a quick recap. We talked about what leadership is not. You're not a born leader. Nobody is a born leader. It's not just on-the-job learning. And you're not a leader only if you have a team. There are 5 levels of leadership. The lowest is transactional, which is only task-oriented. Then you become result-oriented. You learn to be self-oriented. You willingly commit to being service-oriented. And then you are perceived to be value-oriented. It is a level where people perceive you to be. They call you a transformational leader. You don't claim to be one. They call you one. And that is why the 5th level is perceived at. Now that you know the level you're operating from most of the times, and I really respect the honesty with which some of you have responded, I want you to make a note of it, and we will challenge this through another assessment we will do tomorrow. Are you ready for that? That'll be fun? Yes? Wonderful. So let's go through a test tomorrow and challenge if your understanding of the level you operate from is right or not. But before that, a little bit of a homework. If you're a student, I'm sure you're ready for some homework. Are you ready? Then say BIO. Whenever you're ready, you say BIO. Bring it on. Bring it on. You can give us the homework, and we are willing to dive into it and commit to it and come back with homework done tomorrow when we meet at 7. You willing? Yes, say willing in the chat if you're willing to do the homework. Are you willing to do the homework? It's fun, okay? Homework is going to be fun. That I promise you. It has to be fun. Now tell me, if you were to be featured as a transformational leader that people perceive you to be, on which magazine's cover page would you like to come? Where would you like to be featured? Give me the name of the magazine. Quickly tell me. That okay? If I'm perceived as a transformational leader, I should be on the cover page of Forbes, right? Why anything less than Forbes? And maybe it'll look something like this. Would you like this? Would you like to see your picture on the cover page of Forbes? Here, yes, in the chat, if you would like this to be one of the best people in the world, one of the best leaders in the world. If you want this to happen, then let's create a visual of it first, because visual creates commitment. So here is your homework. My team is going to give you a link in the WhatsApp group, which will help you make this cover page with your picture on it in less than 5 minutes. Okay? But the work that you need to do, where you need to spend your time, is to select your best picture. Now, when I ask people to do this, they put a picture where I can see only their eyes, only their forehead. You should be the center of the page, right? So align it nicely. Choose a nice picture where you are visible in a power pose right there on top of the Forbes cover page. Tomorrow when we meet, I want to see all my leaders being featured as transformation leaders on the cover page of Forbes, right? So you will do this homework and share the cover page in the WhatsApp group once you create it. Okay, do you promise me? Give me a promise in the chat. Promise that you will come back with homework done. It'll take you 5 minutes, but add another 5 to it because you need to choose your picture. It has to be your best picture. After all, it's coming on Forbes. It's no small deal. Promise? Wonderful. So enjoy the homework and I will see you tomorrow sharp at 7 where we will talk more about your readiness to become a transformational leader. What is your leadership quotient? At what level do you operate from? And then from there, we'll pave our way towards becoming a transformational leader. One small request before we conclude. Please take some time out to put your takeaways in your WhatsApp chat, in the WhatsApp group, because it will be your way to practice servant leadership. Remember, sharing is service. And when you share, you help other people to learn. Maybe somebody missed out on a point that you will write. Maybe somebody's not been able to join the session, but just by reading your takeaways, they will learn something. And that is your service. So if you want to be at a level 4, let's start working on it right away. Please put your takeaways and share that on the WhatsApp group. And tomorrow, when I meet you at 7, we will take our next step forward towards becoming a transformational leader. Thank you so much for your amazing, amazing participation. Thank you. God bless you all. I'll see you soon.